Yes, good morning all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you all? Fine. Did you meet before also sometime long back? Sometime? For history? Geography? Some subject we have met, I guess. CAPF के लिए मिले थे. So CTFS के लिए मिले थे. So today onwards we are going to begin with a new module. In fact, a known module for some guys, but an unknown module, completely a new module for some other students also. So this approach will be exclusively meant for the current affairs, along with your essay practicing. That is, essay writing practicing will also be taken in this class itself. So a basic introduction to current affairs would have taken place in our previous classes, clear? And current affairs, as I said before also, current affairs can broadly be bifurcated into three segments: international, national, and at the same time some regional updates are also to be discussed, clear? So when we discuss the international updates, we will have to take up the neighboring countries, then the international countries, then at the same time some institutions and organizations that are in news, clear? So have you started with the neighboring countries? Some days back. Not started yet. The neighboring countries at least are completed. So marker. Not done with the neighboring countries? This is the first class. How many of you first class here for current affairs? Most of you are all for first classes.
First class.
One second. So, see, try to understand one thing. As I said just now also, the current affairs can be divided into international, national, and also the regional updates. Under the international segments, we will have to take up the neighboring countries first, then the international countries, then some institutions and organizations, and at the same time, the Prime Minister of India visits to the foreign countries, and at the same time foreign dignitaries visits to India. Clear? That is, wherever the Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi is visiting any country, then it becomes our update. At the same time, what are the foreign dignitaries, whoever are coming to India, that also becomes the most important part of our current events. Clear? So first of all, we will complete the neighboring countries, then enter into the international countries, then the organizations. Under the national updates also, we will have to take up all the events that are news. Clear? That is, under the national updates, first of all, we are going to take up something which is trending in nature. Trending in nature, like you people might have heard of something like a Pulwama attack. Suna kabhi? Ever heard of Pulwama? What is Pulwama attack? Right from Pulwama attack, we need to take up till the New Zealand attack also. New Zealand attack also recently in news that we'll take up. Then under that usually a part of international, but since Pulwama is involved, we take it in the national updates. Then at the same time, we will also be taking up something very important, trending events like GST. Suna kabhi? GST, Goods and Services Tax. What are the recent changes or the recent trends in Goods and Services Tax are to be discussed. Then you people might have heard of something like demonetization. Ever heard? Demonetization. Then all the schemes that are launched by central government in the contemporary time. That is, all the schemes that are launched by the union government, right from Startup India, Stand Up India, Make in India, Digital India, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Startup India, the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, etc., etc. All the schemes are to be taken up in the same class itself. After the schemes, we will be entering into something very important called the sports-related updates. That is, the sports-related current affairs are to be discussed. Under the sports, we are going to take up all the sports, but the most important sport, that is a favorite area of UPSA, is something like badminton. Clear? And at the same time, tennis. These are the two important sports events that are to be understood very carefully, badminton and tennis. And tennis open championships are again and again the question in UPSC. That is right from US Open, French Open, Wimbledon Open. Here all the open, who is the winner, who is the runner are to be understood in the same class itself. Well, after this only we will be understanding something might be important like cricket, since it is a IPL season. So we will have to take up the cricket also, but not the winner and runner here. IPL winner and runner we cannot predict, no? I'm not a fortune teller. Okay, I'm a current affair faculty, that's right. So, you need to understand cricket also in a great detail. Then after the sports related updates, we will be understanding something very important like awards. Okay, all the awards that are in the contemporary news are to be discussed. Okay, awards can again be divided into various segments like the civilian awards, military awards, sports awards, literature awards and international awards. Clear? We will be taking up all the awards together. That is the civilian awards. Civilian awards includes Bharat Ratna and Padma awards. Padma again bifurcated into Vibhushan, Bhushan and Shri. That is Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri are to be understood very carefully. And after the civilian awards are those which are given for the highest contribution to the nation. Like Bharat Ratna. Till last year, that is till 2018, Bharat Ratna was more important for examination point of view. But in 2019, once again it became important because we have given Bharat Ratna to 3 people in 2019. Who are the 3? Pranab Mukherjee, Bhupen Hazarika, good, and who are the 3 persons who received Bharat Ratna in 2019? Bharat Ratna is given since 1954. I am not asking who were received in 1954 because you were not there. But in 2019, at least you are all present, no? Yes? Pranab Mukherjee, Narendra Modi, Rajnath Singh, Arun Jaitley, Inka. Who are received? 3 persons. Bhupen Hazarika, Pranab Mukherjee and Nanaji Deshmukh. Clear? 3 persons have received Bharat Ratna in the year 2019. That becomes most important for us. And at the same time, Padma awards under Padma, 2 Padmas are important. One is Padma Vibhushan and another is Padma Bhushan. And Padma Shri might not be stressed. It can be stressed in the state level examination but not in the UPSC. But only Vibhushan and Bhushan are to be understood under UPSC examination point of view. Then military awards are also very important. The most important military award is Paramavir Chakra. But it is not in use, so might not be important for us. But at the same time, along with Paramavir Chakra, we will be discussing Veer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra, so on and so forth. Clear? So all the awards, all the chakras under military awards are to be understood very carefully. Then after that only we will be understanding something about the sports related awards. The sports related awards nationally and internationally also. And under the sports related awards, the highest sports award given in India is known as Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award, or else in short known as Rajiv Khel Ratna Award, the highest sports award, followed by Arjuna Award, Dronacharya Award, Dhyan Chand Award, so on and so forth. In this way we are also going to conclude the sports related awards also. Then we will be discussing the literature awards. Under the literature awards, the highest literature award given in our country is something known as Jnanpith Award. Jnanpith is the highest literature award given in our country, to be followed by Sahitya Academy Award also, that is most important award. Then Bihari Puraskar, Vyas Puraskar, Bhasha Samman, so on and so forth. Clear? All the literature awards have to be discussed very carefully, whoever are in the newsmaker in the recent times. Then we will be taking up the international awards. Under the international awards, the most important international award we are going to take up here is Nobel Prizes, then the Oscar Prizes, then Pulitzer Prize, Man Booker Prize, so on and so forth. Clear? Raman Magsaysay in fact is also most important and asked every year in the examination. So in this way we are going to cover up all the awards section under the examination point of view. Then we are also going to understand after the award section only, we will be taking up something very important called person in news. Here, person in news, that is, we are going to take up under here only, that is the appointments in the recent times and obituaries in the recent times. That is, appointments, what are the recent appointments done in the national level and international level. Somebody become the new prime minister of a country, somebody becoming the new president of a country, might be making a news in our examination point of view. And obituaries, obituaries means the deaths. Here, what are the recent deaths that are took place in the recent times? That is, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the most important contemporary personality, has to be understood very, very carefully under person in news. After person in news only, we are going to take up some very important updates related to science and technology. That is, science and technology updates we are going to take up. Not the technology we are not going to discuss in the class, only the updates. That is, under science and technology only, we are going to be bifurcating into 3 segments. That is, the space related science and tech, the defense related science and tech, and at the same time the computers related science and tech. In fact, we need to take up the nuclear related science and technology also. So the most important thing which makes a question in the examination is again the space related updates. Clear? The space related updates, what are the recent launches? Any recent launch? 2 days back, 1 day back. What is ASAT? Anti-satellite system. What is anti-satellite system?
To destroy satellites.
क्या जरूरत है उसका?
So that no one can do surveillance on us.
Very good. Clear? No one can keep spy on us. No one can understand what India is going to do, because this is what was happening. So many standings. One second. So science and technology are to be discussed carefully. Under science and technology, the space related technology. The space related technology, here we are going to take up the recent launches that is made by ISRO, and at the same time, sometimes very important for us also, NASA. Clear? NASA is also most important, so we will be taking up ISRO as well as NASA, along with one important country's launches called China. Clear? NASA's launches we are going to take up to understand the technology. But Chinese launches we are going to take up to understand the enmity. Clear? How are they trying to collapse India? How are they trying to attack India? So we will understand all those. And for that reason only we have recently launched something known as ASAT. Clear? ASAT, most important, we'll go to Kargil War. Then we will understand the significance of ASAT. And because of no ASAT, how India struggled a lot till 2019. Then we will understand, along with Swati WLR. That is, Swati weapon locating radar has to be understood very carefully, because we did not have any weapon locating radar in 1999 during the Kargil War, which made India almost lose the Kargil War of 1999. Clear? We'll understand that very carefully. Then we'll be taking up the defense technology also, which is in news in the recent times. Here we are going to take up the missiles which are developed by India in the recent times. That is, we are going to take up a project called IGMDP. IGMDP, that is Indian Guided Missile Development Program, under which we have developed various missiles like Prithvi, Agni, Trishul, Nag, Akash. Along with that, we have some other missiles like BrahMos, Barak, Nirbhay, K missiles, K-type missiles. So all the type of missiles we will be taking up under the defense technology. Under the defense technology only, we are going to take up some exercises. That is, army exercise, naval exercise, and air force exercises between one and another country. That is, between India and foreign countries, we are going to take up all the exercises also under the defense technology. The computers, we are going to take up the most important topic called supercomputer. What are the supercomputers which are in use? And India recently developed the fastest supercomputer called, what is the name of fastest supercomputer developed by India in the recent times? Param is the old version one. What is the India's fastest supercomputer right now? Pratyush. Clear? The name of India's fastest supercomputer is Pratyush. The facilities, the features of the supercomputer, we will understand, because it's not a state examination to ask what is the name of India's fastest supercomputer. Clear? They are going to stress more on the features, they are going to stress more on the applications, and they are going to stress more on the ranking. Is it India's supercomputer the fastest in the world, or there are some other countries also? Here we will understand once again the country known as China, where it had the fastest supercomputer in the world. What is the name? Summit. It's not belong to China. It is of USA, sometimes Japan also. But the fastest supercomputer in the world is Sunway Tiahu Light. Sunway Tiahu Light is the world's fastest supercomputer belonging to which country? China. This is the first rank, and the second rank, the fastest supercomputer is again a supercomputer known as Tianhe 2, that is also belonging to China. And the world's fastest supercomputer, that is Sunway Tiahu Light, have a speed of almost approximately 93 petaflops. Clear? 93 petaflops is the speed of world's fastest supercomputer, and at the same time, world's second fastest supercomputer, Tianhe 2, have a speed of 54 petaflops. But India also have the supercomputer known as Pratyush, which is having an approximate speed of approximately 1 petaflop. Clear? 1 petaflop is the speed of India's fastest supercomputer, and this so-called it as the fastest supercomputer. But recently, the fastest supercomputer of India, that is Pratyush, is been trying to upgrade its speed to approximately 26 petaflops. This is still under consideration, this is still under process, so we haven't developed it as such. Before that also, we had a supercomputer known as Param. Here Param or Yuva were the supercomputers of India before the launch of Pratyush, but Param and Yuva did not even touch the 1 petaflop speed. That is highly to be understood here itself. Who developed the fastest supercomputer of India? Who developed the India's fastest supercomputer? AVKS? Right. Who among the following developed India's fastest? Who among the following developed the India's fastest supercomputer Pratyush? Who among the following developed India's fastest supercomputer called Pratyush? Option A. DRDO. You can write now. DRDO. Defense Research Development Organization. DRDO. Option B, write down. CDAC. C, it's actually hyphen, and DAC, DAC. C, DAC. Center for Development of Advanced Computing. Option C, write down. Option C. IITM. IITM. Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. IITM. Write down option D. Option D. Write down ISRO. ISRO. You can write now ISRO. Indian Space Research Organization. So who developed the India's fastest supercomputer? I am asking you. So mark your answers, all of you. Please mark your respective answers. Clear? So tell me, how many of you with option A, raise your answer A, B, okay, C, alright, and D. Okay. So the correct answer for the question would be IITM. Clear? That is Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology have developed the India's fastest supercomputer. What is meteorology? Very good. Clear? That's something to find the weather-related conditions and all such. So we have developed. We have an organization called IITM, located where? Very good. Clear? Located in Pune, that have developed the India's fastest supercomputer. Clear, all of you? So in this way, we are going to take up the science and technology related updates also. There is space, defense, and at the same time the computer technology. Nuclear technology is something which must be related with your physics, not a part of science and technology. In your science classes or the physics classes, you'll be studying about the nuclear cooperations and nuclear deals we are going to take up here. But the nuclear technology, uranium-232, uranium-238, everything is a part of your physics classes as such. Clear all of you? Then after the science and technology related updates, we are going to take up something very important once again in the current affairs point of view. That is, here only we are going to take up the books in the recent times. Clear? That is, books and its authors. Clear? That are who have made use in the recent times are to be understood. Not all the books, not UPSC books, not Lakshmikant, not Bipin Chandra. Clear? We are not going to discuss 5th edition, 6th edition of Lakshmikant. Clear? But some books which are made news in the recent times, we are going to take up. Do remember, some books which are authored by Shashi Tharoor, we have some authors, like Shashi Tharoor is there, Venkaya Naidu is there. Here, they are all the good veteran authors. We need to take up them only, not all the important, not all the unnecessary ones. Clear all of you? So books is also the most important area in the current affairs. So this will be our approach first of all, and later on we will be taking up the roundups. Roundups, this is a very small topic. The reason why I am saying small topic is because what do you mean by roundup? Roundup means last year August 2018 roundup. August के बाद September 2018 roundup. Then October, November, December roundups. Okay, but roundups will be very small because we are going to cover up everything here. It will be like a quick revision when we take up the roundups. Clear all of you in the class? But usually we can start from the roundup also, but in roundup we cannot give you a backgrounder. Clear everybody in the class? Backgrounder can be possible only when we go through this approach. Clear all of you?
Summary.
Yes, it's like a summary, it's like a quick revision once again. Okay? So, the roundups we are going to take up at least till the month of March 2019. And post March, that is after March 31st, 2019, whatever are the updates taking place, clear? That you will be updating by yourself. Clear? You will be updating by yourself. Yes. How to update? From the month of April till the month of August 19th you are having exam? August 18th you are having exam. So August 18th also you will have to read the newspaper. सुबह एग्जाम से पहले न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ के जाना जरूरी है. Up to July is enough. You have talked to UPSC chairman. No? Okay. So try to understand. The updates which are to be understood is like the 15th of August. Okay? Because your examination is 18th of August. So 15th of August, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi's speech, you need to discuss. Not Narendra Modi, I'm sorry. Maybe Narendra Modi may not be, because it is an election time, no? So I'm not exactly sure. फिर मेरे से नहीं पूछना क्यों नरेंद्र मोदी नहीं आया, ठीक है? Getting the point, no? So Prime Minister's speech makes a good sense in the examination. His speech, there are some valid points. Whatever are the India's development in 2020 or 2019 will also be understood. And always to remember, there is some space always left in the UPSC examination question paper for 2 or 3 questions which can be added later on. Getting the point, all of you? That is, there can be some space left where 2 to 3 questions will be added according to the updates. It's not that in June only the question paper is being prepared. No, it cannot be happened. Clear all of you? They can re-edit the question paper once again even after framing that. So kindly, since it is a month of August, till August 15th we will have discussed some current affairs, and post August 15th we don't have to go through because the question paper will obviously be completed and we don't have to enter into such a large details. Clear all of in the class? So our deadline will be 15th of August 2019. That is, here in this module we are going to update till March 2019. And from the month of April, May, June, July, we are going to have roundups only. Not the events once again, not the backgrounds once again. Get the point? And from the month of April, how many of you started making the notes for current affairs so far? You have your current affairs notes? Everybody have? 1, 2, only 2 to 3. That's it. So, this is the reason for scheduling current affairs. because usually what happens is we will be first of all completing the backlogs. That is from August 2018 till March 2019 we are going to complete all the backlogs we are left with. Then from the month of April you will be updating by yourself. And when I come for the roundup, it must be looking like a quick revision for you. It must not be a first time listening for all of you. This is my agenda, which is a successful agenda and which must be followed by each one of you. Can we work together?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes.
So from the month of April we will be updating yourself all the events through Facebooks, through Instagrams, through chattings. How?
Any good source or magazine can you say?
How will update? Newspapers, no Facebooks, no Instas, no chatting tools, nothing, no WhatsApp message. Clear? Only through regular newspaper reading you will be updating the news by yourself. Clear? Can we start our discussion? Current affairs, starting with where? International. And regional, wherever is necessary, we are going to take up because there is no fixed model for regional updates. Clear? International. First of all, keep a heading neighboring countries. Keep a heading neighboring countries. India and neighboring countries. Again, don't think US neighboring, Russia neighboring, Sare zarorat hai. So, before we understand the neighboring countries, we will have to take up some historical evidence known as Panchashil Agreement. Panchashil Agreement. See, neighboring countries here, we are actually going to take up the countries like something like this, no? Okay. Here we have a country known as clear? So these are all the neighboring countries of India. That is Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh and also Sri Lanka. And whenever we discuss the neighboring countries relations, the reason we are taking up the neighboring countries is the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi, immediately after becoming the Prime Minister of India, he had given one policy known as neighboring countries first. That is, my first agenda would be neighboring countries and my last agenda will also be neighboring countries. And he also given a concept known as Look East policy. What is it? Look East policy. Look East matlab the eastern belt of India. Clear? All the eastern countries we need to focus more in order to rapid development of the country. And Narendra Modi have also stressed on something known as, it is not only Look East policy, it is also Act East policy. That is, Act East policy, that is, we are not only giving a commitment, we are not only giving a paper commitments, we are actually going for the implementation of every commitment. And look at the eastern countries, are they developing countries or developed countries or underdeveloped countries? Mostly they are underdeveloped countries. But when you look at the western countries, right from Arab, the Russia, the European belt and also North America and South America, all the western countries are developed countries. And when Narendra Modi is speaking about the Look East and Act East policy, he is stressing more on the assistance by India. Yes or no? India is going to assist the neighboring countries. India is going to assist the eastern belt countries. At the same time, India is going to take the assistance from Western countries. It is going to take the assistance from the Western bloc and give it to the Eastern bloc. So, don't you think so? India is acting as a mediator between the Western and Eastern countries. Clear all of in the class? And at the same time, to announce the policy of look-east policy, write down. To announce, write down. To announce, question again. To announce look-east policy. To announce look-east policy, and which transformed into Act East, and which transformed into Act East. Act is Narendra Modi selected. Narendra Modi, you might have heard, no? Narendra Modi is the former present Prime Minister. Presently is the caretaker Prime Minister of India. Clear? Caretaker means why? Because election code is in force. So for that reason he is known as the caretaker Prime Minister of our country. Kalika? Has selected which country? Which country? Has selected which country? Has selected which country? Option A, Indonesia. Option A, Indonesia. You can write now? Indonesia. Option B, Bhutan. B, Bhutan. C, Myanmar. And D, Nepal. Questions coming clear now? So tell me, how many of you with option A, raise answer A, B, okay, C, alright, and D, okay. I'll give you one more chance. Clear? You can also change your answers. Clear all of you? Think carefully and answer the question. Once again, how many of you with option A, please raise your answer, A, okay, B, alright, C, okay, and D, okay. So, what is A? Indonesia can blindly be eliminated. Indonesia cannot be the answer for this question because is Indonesia sharing boundary with India? No, Indonesia can be rejected. So your confusion must be between B, C and D, if I guess. Yes? So the correct answer for the question would be Myanmar. Clear? And looking at the eastern countries, or else the Act-East policy or Look-East policy is not something which is in news in the contemporary times. Which was also the policy of the former Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. That is also termed the first Prime Minister of India. And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had a very mutual understanding and at the same time good understanding, good relations with a country known as China. And China is one important neighboring country that has to be understood very, very, very carefully. And when we discuss a country called China, the agreement, there was an agreement signed by between Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and at the same time Zhou Enlai, that is the premier of China in 1950s. And the agreement signed for the good relations between both the countries is known as Panchsheel Agreement in the year 1954. Panchsheel means obviously, Panch means 5, there are 5 points which have to be understood in the initial stages. And the relation between India and China were like very peaceful till the year 1962. Only in the year 1962 there was a war between India and China which you are all aware of. What is the reason of war in 1962? Arunachal Pradesh was not the exact reason, but the exact reason was the boundary line between India and China known as McMahon line. The McMahon line was not acceptable as the international boundary line between both the nations, and so for that reason, McMahon line, in place of McMahon line, they have occupied another region in 1962 known as LOAC, that is line of actual control, by occupying a region in China known as Aksai Chin region. Which region? Aksai Chin region was occupied by Jammu and in Jammu and Kashmir. Aksai Chin region was occupied, and the war ended. Who won? India or Pakistan? Sorry, India or China? Obviously, China won. For that reason only, Aksai Chin region was occupied by China. In which year? 1962. And after Aksai Chin region was occupied, this region in Jammu and Kashmir is known as what? COK. That is China occupied Kashmir. Is the new region in Jammu and Kashmir which is occupied by China. And after this Indo-China war of 1962 only, but we never expected a war between India and China. Because in 1954 only, we had an agreement called Panchsheel Agreement. And according to Panchsheel Agreement, the most important point of Panchsheel Agreement is nobody must involve in another country's internal affairs. That is, in the internal disputes of one country, no other foreign country will be involved. And what are the two countries signatories of Panchsheel Agreement? India and China. And so for that reason, India never expected China to emerge as a war or indulge into a war between India and China. And at the same time, India and China relations are also to be connected with an organization known as UNO, that is United Nations Organization. UNO permanent membership was actually offered to India, which was given back by India to a country known as China. This was a recent editorial also in Hindu recent times. I think you might have read the editorial also. In the editorial, the Congress claims that Jawaharlal Nehru did not offer anything as such, but Narendra Modi and Subramanya Swamy was the editor-writer of that editorial in Hindu, was writing that yes, it was an offer given by Jawaharlal Nehru. What is the story? What is the background? Just a minute I'll spend on that. In United Nations Organization, when was it formed? In the year 1945. And before UNO also, in the year 1919, there was a body formed known as League of Nations. Clear? League of Nations, which is completely aiming at international peace. And go through the years, 1919 and at the same time 1945. These are the 2 years where the First World War and the Second World War ended. Yes or no? After the First World War completed, we got what? League of Nations. After the Second World War completed, we got United Nations Organization, aiming at international peace. And we can here conclude that League of Nations is completely an unsuccessful body. Yes or no? Since League of Nations is unsuccessful, it's not successful, for that reason only we have entered into Second World War also. Getting the point all of you? In the Second World War, after the Second World War, United Nations Organization was formed. And under United Nations Organization, there is a body known as United Nations General Assembly, we'll discuss now. Then we have something known as United Nations Security Council. Then we have something called ECOSCO, that is Economic and Social Council. We have some body known as UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program. We have some other bodies also like UNESCO, clear, that is United Nations, sorry? Very good. United Nations Education, Scientific and Culture. What is ECOSCO then? Economic and Social Council. Then we have something known as UNICEF. That is United Nations International Children Education Fund. So there are some other associate bodies also of UN. But the most important body is United Nations Security Council, UNSC. Under UNSC, there is a concept called P5. That is permanent 5 members. Permanent 5 countries are those countries which are aiming at the permanent membership in United Nations Security Council. And those countries which are the part of P5 will be vested with the world security and at the same time world peace. That is, world peace and world security is the main motive of United Nations Security Council. And there are 5 countries, that is USA, UK, Russia, China and France. These are the 5 permanent countries in I'll make you write everything. Have patience. Clear? These are the 5 countries which are the part of United Nations Security Council, and among this there is a country known as China. Right? So China, before China was offered the United Nations Security Council permanent membership, before China there is a country given an offer from Asia continent known as India. And India says, India and China have signed a Panchsheel agreement, and China is an elder brother to India, and for that reason we are going to give the same offer to a country known as China. We are not going to take any permanent membership, because if China becomes a permanent member, then obviously India will also become a permanent member in United Nations Security Council. For that reason we haven't taken any permanent seat in UNSC. This offer was taken by China, given by India, and now India is striving for the permanent seat in United Nations Security Council. And all the 5 countries are the part of B5 will be having a veto power. Veto power is a power to merge or to take any new country as a permanent member. And another veto power, all the 5 countries must accept the permanent seat of India in United Nations Security Council. All the 4 countries are accepting except a country known as China. China is not accepting India's permanent seat in United Nations Security Council. Who gave the seat to China? We only gave the seat to China, but they are not accepting India's permanent membership in United Nations Security Council. Clear all of in the class? At the same time, try to understand one important point here itself. Whenever we discuss the United Nations Organization, under United Nations Organization, we have one another concept called United Nations Development Program. Under United Nations Development Program also, India is getting more amount of foreign assistances, that is international assistances. And for a program known as Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. You might have heard, there is a village roads program, and another Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana was recently given a special assistance by UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program. So that assistance is also we are going to take up, but China has to be understood first of all. Clear all of you? And after we take up that, why did we give the permanent seat to China? Because of the mutual cooperation and because of the Panchsheel agreement. And we are fixing, we are together until the year 1962. But in 1962, all of a sudden, China attacked India. And after China attacked India, India never expected this betrayal. This cheating was never expected by India. And after that only, the relations between India and China got deteriorated, got separated, got neglected. Clear all of you? And from then onwards, China is becoming a rival to India. China is trying to become an enemy to India, and obviously when China is trying to become an enemy to India, there will be one country supporting China known as Pakistan. Clear? Pakistan and China are together, 2 big forces together, and Chinese threat to India is obviously expected at all the points of time. And for that reason only, after the Indo-China War of 1962, India emerged a new force between India and China borders known as ITBP, that is Indo-Tibetan Border Police, was being deployed between the boundaries of India and China. At the same time, there are some other forces also all across the boundaries of India, that is between India and Nepal, and at the same time India and Bhutan, there is a force known as SSB, that is Sahasra Seema Bal, between India Bhutan as well as India Nepal. Then between India Bangladesh and India Pakistan and India Afghanistan, we have a force known as BSF, that is Border Security Force, between 3 nations, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and at the same time Afghanistan also. We have Border Security Force. Why Bangladesh? Why we have BSF also between Bangladesh? Smuggling activities. Why in particular Bangladesh? Why don't we have the same force for all the countries? No, my question is, why do we not have a common force? Why different forces? BSF, ITBP, Sahasra Seema Bal, Indian Army, Indian Air Force. They are the
different kinds of training is given to different locations.
training. Okay. Any other reason? Only geographical reason? ठीक है.
We don't have so much friendly relation with Bangladesh as compared to Nepal or Bhutan. Because we know the language.
Because we don't know the language.
Because we know the language. Bangladesh and West Bengal and
My question, I think it's coming clear. I am asking you why there are different forces for different countries. Why not a common force between all the countries? And is there any force between Sri Lanka? Will be there, very good. Indian naval officers will be there, and close to India will be having a coast guards. Clear? Coast guards will be close to the coast, but otherwise will be having Indian naval officials working there. And do we have boundary with Afghanistan?
Yes, sir.
Any land boundary with Afghanistan? My question is it Durand line the part of India now?
No.
Do you have any Durand line with Afghanistan right now?
No, sir.
Geography is completed, I guess. Consider the following statements. Consider the following statements. Consider the following statements. Right in the first statement. First statement right now. First statement. Right now. India and Nepal, India and Nepal share an international boundary line. An international boundary line. International boundary line. Underline line. Okay? Fill in the second statement. Same, repeat the same sentence. India and Afghanistan share an international boundary line. An international boundary line presently. An international boundary line presently, currently. Okay? First statement maybe you write down presently. Then now write down the options. Option A, only one. Option B, only two. Option C, both 1 and 2. And option D, none of the above. A, only 1 is correct. B, only 2 is correct. C, both 1 and 2 are correct. And D, none of the above is correct. Question is coming clear now? Very simple question. So tell me, how many of you with option A, raise your hands up, A, okay, B, okay, C, alright, and D, okay. What is the first statement? There is no boundary line between India and Nepal. There is a free movement between India and Nepal. So there is no fixed international boundary line between both the nations as such. But second statement क्या है? Underline presently. Underline presently और कर दो. Mark it wrong. ठीक है? Present, there is no international boundary line between India and Afghanistan. There is, everything has been a part of Pakistan. There is POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir presently. So we cannot conclude that there is an international boundary line between both the nations. Now try to understand that. The background is coming clear now. 1962, what is the reason of war? The reason of war is China always wanted to occupy which region? Aksai Chin region of Jammu and Kashmir, and for that reason only in 1962 they have entered into a war, and in the year 1962 war, who won? China won the war in 1962, after which they have redrawn the international boundary line from McMahon into a new boundary line known as line of control or line of actual control? Line of actual control. After line of actual control was drawn, see, there is a force created known as ITBP, that is Indo-Tibetan border. And what is the significance of oxide chain region? Somewhere here is oxide chain. This is LOAC. This is completely COK. But why do we need oxide chain? Why China need oxide chain, not me? I'm trying to understand this, whatever is occupied by China, and we'll discuss also POK. This is completely not suitable for human beings. Completely elevated parts, mountaineering areas. Why do still China and Pakistan are striving for COK and POK? Yes? Uranium is there. Achha. Ladakh is the significant area. Okay. Anything else? Silk Route, it's a different thing. We'll discuss. Any other view? Simple reason, no? From the elevated pass, we can attack India. Okay. Try to understand. The reason is, again, Jammu and Kashmir. They always wanted to occupy the entire Jammu and Kashmir region. That is, Jammu and Kashmir wanted to be the part of Pakistan. That is, Jammu and Kashmir wanted to be merged into Pakistan. That is the agenda of Pakistan, not Jammu and Kashmir. Maharaja Hari Singh never accepted that Jammu and Kashmir will go and become the part of Pakistan. And Maharaja Hari Singh will bring into picture. But try to understand one thing. When after the ITBP was deployed, now China started its old policy. China became independent after India. Try to understand. India got independence in 1947. China got its independence in 1948. So when we discuss that China as a territory, China is having a hobby. India's hobby is watching movies, watching television, and all those. Chinese hobby is constructing roads. Clear? Construction of roads. They have huge amount of cement, huge amount of roads, rail network, etc., etc. That is the hobby of China. Wherever they find a place, they'll make a road. Clear all of you? And that becomes a threat to India. And China always to have a route connecting India to all the corners of the world. Get the point all of you? India को connect करते हुए पूरा दुनिया घूमना चाहता है China. But it is a threat to our country. Yes or no? So China have recently started the construction of something known as Silk Route. क्या बोलते हैं? Silk Route. Okay? Silk Route, or else we also call it as string of pearls. Okay? We call it as string of pearls. What China is doing is, China is trying to occupy all the regions around India and trying to enter into the Western countries. Why Western countries? Why Western countries? Western countries, in particular, Arab countries, not US. US is a big rival of China. We'll discuss that now. Okay? So, it is trying to enter into Arab countries because of an activity called petroleum. Clear? Petroleum imports to China. And to import petrol from Arab countries, China wanted to take a big route connecting all across Indian subcontinent as such. And China also have an easy access. The Chinese easy access can be gone through a country known as Pakistan. That is through Xinjiang province up to Gwadar port in Pakistan. They have started constructing a line here known as CPEC. क्या बोलते हैं? CPEC. That is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So, try to understand. Through string of pearls, entire subcontinent is being covered. And through CPEC, the remaining subcontinent has been covered. One route. Then there is another route called rail route, another route called sea route, another route called road route. And it is connecting almost to the Europe continent. That is from Asia se Europe tak. They have started constructing a road, a rail, and also the sea networks. This entire connectivity road is known as Silk Route of China. Here all of you in the class, Silk Route, the historical evidences will be studying in the world history. I think it's not a part of your syllabus. Clear all of you? So the Silk Route. Now try to understand. Apart from India, wherever India sees a road or a train or a sea road, it is all belonging to China as such. Why China is more stressed on this? Because China wanted to enter as a global player, not as a national player. And Chinese goods are exported worldwide. And to export the Chinese goods worldwide, China needs a route for that reason. And why in 1962 war took place? Because to occupy Aksai chain, which provides an easy access to Tibet region of China. If Aksai chain is a part of China, if Aksai chain is a internal part of China, then probably China will be getting a easy route to enter into Tibet region of China. At the same time, try to understand one important point which took place in the recent times. There is a sea known as South China Sea. Clear? South China Sea. Its name is South China Sea, but it does not belong to China. Clear? South China Sea, something like this. Here the Chinese territory is there. And for any country, there is some water boundaries. Water boundaries, what we call it as, like till 200 nautical miles, every country have an access to the waters. Till 200 nautical miles, it is known as EEZ, that is Exclusive Economic Zone. And post 200 nautical mile, everything is known as international waters. China in the recent times, what it did is, they have crossed the 200 nautical miles and they have occupied additionally 9 nautical miles. And these 9 nautical miles occupied by China is known as 9 dotted channel or 9 dotted line. Why they have occupied additional 9 nautical miles? Pani ka hai? Nahi. The reason is they wanted to command the southeast countries. That is Indonesia, Malaysia, and all the countries have to be controlled by China. And they have an island called Spartal Islands, which are to be occupied by China, where there is a Chinese naval base located there. Clear everybody in the class? The Chinese naval base is being located there. So the entire Asia continent, don't you think so, it is under the control of China? Either directly or indirectly. So for that reason only, China is becoming a major rival for India day by day. But at the same time, though China is a rival to India, China and India have a good amount of trade relations. That is, the largest trade partner of India in the present times is again China. Why China? Cheap goods, very good. Clear? China is going to give India the cheapest form of goods, the cheapest price goods to India. And India cannot